There we have them. Tim Gräfe versus Alexander Schmidt, and they are going to battle it out. And as you can see, two decks again that we have not seen at all yet for the entire tournament. But it's going to be KASHTIRA versus INFERNOBLE. And do you remember? I was kind of saying KASHTIRA may be a sleeper pick for this tournament. And here we go. He targets it.
Yeah, I mean, you already knew it, because KASHTIRA, you said it's good.
Yeah.
I said it's not as good, but, I mean, Tim has proven us wrong.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
me at least.
Yeah, 4-0 it is. And now, well, he has to face a deck that you don't want to face when you're going second, and that is going to be INFERNOBLE, and we are starting off with tuning, searching out Revolution Synchron, and then milling an Ash Blossom.
Yeah, Rev Synchron, a card which wasn't really popular before in the INFERNOBLE deck, but maybe after the last Forbidden and Limited list, we see him pick up a new build, and I'm very interested what we will see Alexander doing here.
Totally. I have no idea what the end field is going to look like. Of course, Isolde is not a card we can play anymore, but still Alexander found a way to make this work. And it's weird today because just last round, I don't know whether you saw it, we had Rikar actually performing, and that was another deck where I was like, how is this still working? But it worked just fine.
And we are seeing now like the Ricciardetto being normal summoned and then equipped by Dracobag.
Yep.
I'm not really sure if the Dracobag can be attached there.
Why again?
Because I don't know if it has to be to a non-effect monster, but I might be wrong on that.
Let's see. We can check that out. Dracobag, equip only to a monster you control. That is totally valid there.
Then Alex made a play.
But look at that! There is nothing more! This was all for Baron de Fleur Pass. And Tim is going to activate Pot of Prosperity.
Which was negated by Baron. Tim has the second one.
We are going strong here, just as planned. Alexander did not want that Prosperity to resolve, but Tim is like, whatever, we just go with another one.
But do you think Tim can go for 6 again? Or is that a bit too brave?
Oh, you're right. I mean, to be fair, the space in the KASHTIRA extra deck nowadays is kind of okay. I mean, that is a very solid starter.
And now he has for sure Engine.
Yeah, exactly.
But we saw Alexander, did he use the Ash before? Or was I wrong on that?
I don't think we used Ash. We just milled the Ash with the tuning. And therefore it went to the graveyard. And there we go. Normal summon Rysart is interesting.
But he has the Theosis already.
Yeah. But I mean, what did we grab off of the Prosperity there?
Oh, you're right. We likely added the Theosis. And now like we saw like the normal summon Rysart and now grabbing the Unicorn and getting into our KASHTIRA Birth likely.
Yeah.
And then I think Tim is completely fine to break Alexander's board, which, to be fair, is not the biggest.
Somewhat abysmal. You're right. But let's see. Tim is definitely aware of what he's doing. He's doing this quickly. He's grabbing the cards with super lightning speed. Now using the effect of Rysart to banish the Fenrir and banish 3 cards from his opponent. And there's the Birth, of course.
Yeah, and now he has like his whole KASHTIRA engine in play. And I think it's very hard for Alex to go through, to break the board of Tim now. Because even though it doesn't look like a very big board, with only 2 cards in hand, it's pretty tough to fight against Unicorn and Fenrir.
Yeah, for sure. Those cards alone can trade pretty well into a lot of different engines. And I mean, we saw Alexander's engine there is INFERNOBLE deck only produced 1 Baron de Fleur. Someone in chat was jokingly saying, it almost looks like Isolde was needed. And I mean, yes, Isolde was quite the card. Quite the card it was indeed. And without Isolde, it was only ending in that Baron de Fleur. Tim now trying to figure out what's his next move.
I mean, to be fair for Alex at least, I think like Tim cannot OTK him here through, because still, even though the KASHTIRA deck has a lot of big monsters, if you have to use like Theosis to go into Unicorn and defense, it's hard to OTK. But maybe Tim just proved me wrong with having like the Scarecrow KASHTIRA hard drawn.
Yeah, I mean, that could work. Oh, we could go for Big Eye here.
Yeah. Big Eye. Yeah.
Wait, Big Eye, that's 3,000?
Yeah.
That's actually exactly game, right?
Isn't that exactly game?
That's exactly 8,000 that Tim has here on the field. Attacking with the Fenrir. Yep, the Big Eye cannot attack, but if we calculate it correctly, that is exactly 8,000 points of damage, and our man just goes second against that INFERNOBLE deck with the KASHTIRA strategy and knocks him out.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I just said, like, it's hard to OTK with the KASHTIRA deck, but Tim just completely proved me wrong there with taking the Baron de Fleur and just, like, OTKing through INFERNOBLE's full combo. Probably.
Yeah, exactly. But now, that's the thing. Talking about full combo, I really now in game 2 want to see what the deck is still capable of, because obviously Alexander
Yeah.
did not make it to table 2 here in round number 5 by always going Baron de Fleur pass with his Infernoble strategy.
Yeah.
There's no way. There must be something cool and spicy about it. Maybe it's coming from a side deck. Maybe he always lost game 1 and then in the side deck he just upped his strategy. So let's have a look. What is Alexander bringing in side deck?
Yeah, so Alexander's side deck doesn't look like very good for going first. He mainly
Yeah.
has like some hand traps, I think, like for the like combo heavy matchups.
Yeah.
But now if we are talking about Alexander like doing the full combo with like the Infernoble deck, I think Tim has some pretty interesting cards to stop the Infernoble decks.
True, yeah. There's Droll and Lockbird for sure. Oh, there's a Dimension Shifter in the main deck, of course, too. And actually, a good point made by chat. I mean, the game was scooped, and a game that is forfeited is just always forfeited. But Pot of Prosperity was actually a card that was activated there in that turn, and therefore those attacks looked scary, but that was only 4,000 points of damage, right?
Correct. You're right. Like I completely forgot that we used the
Same.
Prosperity. But maybe Alex also like forgot.
Yeah, he totally did. And I mean, I think the only thing that Tim did was just attacking with his cards.
Yeah.
And then when the opponent picks up the cards, like, what can you do? He decided the game was over, even though it might have not been.
I mean, Alex picked up his cards after the effect of KASHTIRA Fenrir. So obviously, like, I feel like, yeah. Might have been like he might forgot, but
yeah, I mean, we both forgot as well,
Yeah.
so obviously it's pretty
Yeah.
reasonable for Alex to also forget it. But yeah, Tim has Shifter in the main deck, as you say. He has Droll and Lockbird, of course, which has always been amazing. Super Polymerization
Yeah.
can also be a card.
I think the Super Polymerization against a deck with only fire monsters
Yeah.
sounds like a very great choice to me. I mean, let's be fair, like he ended on Baron de Fleur, which is not a fire monster,
True.
but which is a warrior. But now I need to see like if Tim played the Guilty Gear Free probably.
He may be. Yes, there is
Yeah.
Guilty Gear Free in the extra deck, but there's also players ready for game number 2, so let's get back to the table right now. And there we go. Tim and Alex both ready for this second game. And Alex will probably try his luck again going first, hopefully working out better this time.
I mean, I would bet quite some money that Alex goes first.
Yep.
Here.
And there we started off with Wanted.
Yeah. I mean, having access to the Diabalsta engine still sounds like a very, very good plan for the Infernoble deck.
For any kind of deck in the format.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I think if Tim had the Dimension Shifter, he would have already used it on the effect of the Wanted spell, so that it doesn't go into the graveyard and he doesn't get the full advantage. And now we see Diabalsta discarding Jet Synchron.
That's nice. And it's getting met with Impermanence by Tim. Immediately trying to shut that down.
Yeah.
Alex. Not looking happy again, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he still has a lot of cards.
Ooh, that's the
And
normal
we see-
summon off.
That should be the how is it called from the Adventure engine?
Oh, you're right. That's
Yeah.
That's Magical Warrior of the Reliques, most likely, which
Yeah.
I see here on the deck list, and that's a card we have not really
Yeah.
see a whole lot of, but
It is a Fire Warrior. to
it
be
is a
fair.
Fire Warrior,
And
indeed.
we see Alex like using the Sinful Spoil spell. He obviously had hard drawn, so Tim's Imperm was kind of wasted here.
Yep.
But I can still understand that you cannot play around the one-off, I think. So.
Yeah. And also, the Magical Warrior of the Reliques, just for context, obviously can be searched with Fateful Adventure, so you have additional ways to get into warrior monsters, into fire warrior monsters, and that's why it is there, okay? Alex, going to his extra deck, is it going to be Baron again, or do we have a better card to summon out this time? And of course, it's Angelica, so maybe this time we're onto something more than just Baron Pass. I am confident.
Yeah, and I don't know if Tim has like if Tim has many hand traps left here.
Yeah.
Because he threw like the Imperm very early, and often if you're throwing a hand trap very early, you have to think like you have to stop him at the beginning because you
True,
cannot
true.
give any advantage to him.
Yeah, absolutely, I do agree.
So, and if Tim now here has to watch the full Infernoble combo, I don't know if he will be happy.
He does not look happy already, but I mean, he's quite tired probably at this point already. He drove here early in the morning from Rostock, which is quite the drive, and I can tell you, this man is joining me on my tour to Essen tomorrow too, or maybe rather tonight. So this man is a man of grind, and I do definitely appreciate the grind, and he is successful still with this here right now. So, Alexander, of course, paid 1,200 life points for the effect of Museum, so he's down to 6,800 and keeps on going here.
Yeah, and there he grabbed the Durandal, using it onto Angelica to use the effect of Angelica to like get more advantage. And there we see the Roland.
Yep. Roland being summoned. What's next for him here?
I mean, Alex has quite a loaded graveyard of things, so he should be able to do something with like equipping the Turpine back
Yep,
and just special summoning it. And now he will go into the Emperor Charles, I think.
that is indeed the case. Emperor Charles coming to the field.
Yeah. We're now using the Roland to equip it, so we can go into the Link one being Charlemagne.
Yes.
I think it's such a cool design for a Link monster, to be honest.
It really is.
Being a Link one, upgrading your boss monster before, and there's Heritage of the Challenge, grabbing us likely another, I think, is it an equip spell we are getting? No, it's another museum.
Just going for another museum. But now the question to me is, okay, we already have a pseudo boss monster on the field, of course, yes. But still, this does not look like a whole lot better than the Run Pass to me. Maybe slightly better, but not incredibly strong. So is there more coming? And what would that be? Because looking for his extra deck, like there is somehow a plan for Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. That would be something. And then maybe IP Masquerena. But besides that, I don't know.
So I believe we haven't used the museum effect to special summons an equipped Noble Knight, INFERNOBLE Knight out. So we might get, like, there we see it. We see the Charles special summon again, and now we might go into a second Charlemagne.
Oh yeah, fair.
So, and I mean, with Tim only having 4 cards in hand, like having 2 spell trap negates, sounds kind of reasonable, but
fair.
I don't know if that board like is very consistently there against, like, if we are getting the Fenrir.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I'm not impressed right now because honestly, last round by the Rika strategy, which I also thought was just completely murdered by the last Forbidden Unlimited list, I was still somewhat impressed what it did in the feature. But here so far, what Alex is doing, it's all right, but it's not looking crazy at all, honestly.
Yeah, and I can tell you something. Like before the last Forbidden Unlimited list, we always saw the Angelic Ring.
Yeah.
Which like was able to be such a massive counter to the super polymerization.
True.
But now we see 2 fire monsters on the field, and 2 fire warriors especially, and there I don't know if like the guilty gear feed might just come down, and then I don't know if Alex has any recovery left.
Yeah, that would be crazy for sure. Tim may already be licking his lips, trying to resolve that super polymerization that you are anticipating. But let's not forget, super poly, of course, always with a little bit of downside for the KASHTIRA deck, because you might put a monster onto your field where you don't need it, because KASHTIRA just doesn't need monsters on the field.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but still, I don't know. The good thing about Super Holy is like you can already start like doing some plays, like special summoning Fenrir first, and then if the Super Holy then comes down, you already have your KASHTIRA monster in the field.
Yeah. Okay. So
you see.
That looks like a spell trap for sure, and it is a super polymerization. Yeah, this man is not here to make any friends. He is going to fuse away the Angelica and the Okay, because we do want to go for Garura there. Fair.
Okay, I understand. I mean, still the Angelica, I think, like has more of a recursion thingy for him. So if Tim cannot OTK here, the Angelica would give him more follow-up for the next turns.
Yeah.
So I like the idea, and maybe we just pass now here.
We have Scareclaw KASHTIRA, and Scareclaw KASHTIRA obviously might be a way to start playing here if we have access to another Theosis.
Also, I realized something very interesting now. Tim is playing the SP Little Knight here.
Ooh.
So being able to just like banish the Charles now, and later getting rid of the SP Little Knight, he might get his board clear again, so he can special summon the Fenrir back.
For sure, for sure.
And he can draw a card of Garura, of course.
Yep. I think that's exactly what we're going to go for here. Looks like a Link 2 summon to me. And indeed, where it is, we go for Donner. Okay, so he desperately wants to get rid of the monster on the field, and that, of course, on the plus side means he definitely also has engine there. He definitely has like either Fenrir or Unicorn or something in the grave. Ooh, but he did not account for that. We just equipped the Roland again, destroying the Donner, and there comes Prosperity again. Yeah. Okay. Oh, but he did draw a card. Oh, he did draw Garura. True.
Yeah.
So that is quickly recognized, I think by himself even. I think he just realized the second he played the card, oh no, I cannot even activate that card.
Yeah, I mean, happened to every one of us, like activating a card and immediately seeing like, true, I cannot.
That does not work. Okay.
Yeah. Does he have something else, or was he so desperate?
Ooh, that's a set card. Might be a bluff with the Prosperity, and that is the end of the turn here for Tim. Going back over to Alexander.
Yeah, now we see like the Charlemagne like re-equipping the I think it's Almace. He's re-equipping to it, so the Almace should be able to get him more follow-up, to get Alex more follow-up. So I don't know if Tim will be able to survive this, because we already saw the Scarecrow Cash being used, and Scarecrow Cash is often like the only copy, only played at one. So Tim does not have something like to protect him this turn, I think. Except there might be a Nibiru.
But there's Gearfried right away, and that Gearfried, I mean, is already an answer to Nibiru, right? So
Yes, it is, and I don't think this looks super good for Tim now. And Alex might be in his element now.
yep, that is another monster coming to the field. But I think the first game was so quick that Tim can allow himself here to just wait a little and check out what the strategy of Alex even is all about. Because quite frankly, it's hard to figure out because this deck is severely hit. It's a completely new deck basically without Isolde. You have to go different new ways, but those ways have found their way into a second game victory. So 1-1 even score. And I am afraid we may see the new technology that Tim has brought into his Kashtira deck.
You want me to spoil it?
Yeah, please introduce it to the people. Introduce what now apparently is a card for Kashtira Duel.
I'll leak the Kashtira Goo Tim is playing today, because it's 3 copies of Vanity's Fiend in his main deck. Being able to stop special summons completely. And Basti, I'm sure he will not side him out going first.
I am pretty sure that's not going to happen, yep. But I mean, it's obviously a card you have to hard draw or activate or grab with Pot of Prosperity, which he has been consistently getting out of his deck into his opening hand there, and so maybe in the third game he's going to do that again. But yeah, that card of course is scary for the deck that he is facing right now, because what is INFERNOBLE going to do if you're not allowed to special summon?
Yeah, it's completely crazy. The question even is, like, what is Alex siding in against the Kashtira deck?
Yeah.
Because if you're siding the Pancratops to out Floodgates, guess what? Pancratops is not the best out to Vanity's Fiend.
Yeah. I mean, the moment you also introduced me to that idea of playing that card, because I think it topped a regional somewhere or something. I think you just sent me the deck list of that. I was like completely opposed to it, because it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right to just include that monster there, because you are kind of giving up your field for the tribute summon of this.
Yeah.
To be fair though, you usually end on Shangri-Ira, and you could just end on Shangri-Ira Fenrir. And then you can also tribute the Fenrir, because you might just be able to bring out another Fenrir or something.
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know if we even commit to the Shangri-Ira. Like, I think we just play Fenrir, Unicorn, Vanity's Fiend.
Sounds pretty reasonable to me, for sure. People in chat are wondering who that handsome fella next to me is. That is, of course, Icentrix, aka Philip News, joining me now for some commentary. As I've been talking a lot already today, it's good to have somebody take some work off of me, so I hope you guys enjoy some co-commentary here, some 2 people in the booth shenanigans. But I mean, going first, Tim's list, additionally to the already great cards he's playing in the main deck, is also featuring one of the most powerful going first cards of all time, which is of course Solemn Judgment. So that is definitely a card that is most likely going to find its way into this.
And like time is, we have quite some time left, so
for sure. And I mean, chat is wondering how your tournament experience was. What was the score again? It was 1-2?
1-2, but we're not talking about results. It's about having the fun, right?
It's about having game 3 of our featured match. Players are ready, so back into the action we go.
So, and there we see players being ready. I think like we saw like a lot of Kashtira decks deciding to go blind second, but likely Tim will go first here
with this list for sure.
I would not let the decks the INFERNOBLE decks out, but I think Alex had an Ash Blossom in his hand.
Fair.
Yeah, and he's so kind to put it in the top of it.
Yeah, exactly. He's almost showing it to Tim. And Tim, are we starting with Prosperity again? I almost can feel it. I can smell the Prosperity. I can smell Prosperity there. It is, of course, with Prosperity. I swear I didn't see it, but this man has just consistently been opening up this card so much here.
I mean, of course you knew it. Like, I see your experience here.
Yeah. For sure.
I mean, it was quite obvious, I think, when he like was thinking about to use it first, because I could also I know he thought about thinning his deck to get into Vanity's Fiend more consistently, but we see Alex just ashing it.
But we do have Rysart into hopefully. Oh, okay, we start with the effect of Rysart, but the important part we need here, of course, is the Theosis now to keep on playing. I mean, Verve does the same. True, you're right. But very important to note now as well, though, the main deck technology, the main deck tag, we talked about now so much with Vanity's Fiend is not available now for this turn anymore because we just committed to our
Yeah.
normal summon already.
And that's like the biggest problem. And there we see, like you already said, the birth being activated, grabbing the unicorn. And now I'm interested if Tim like really wants to commit into stuff like Shangri-Ira and different stuff there. Because, I mean, I don't know if he can summon even 5 times if he does his full combo.
Yeah.
Because Nip could be a card against him.
It could absolutely be a card. So Theosis cannot be mad with Ash Blossom anymore as that was already used on the Prosperity. Brings out Fenrir here. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird with the KASHTIRA deck at the moment. That was why we also, when we talked about it in our meta breakdown, which was released recently on YouTube, so guys, definitely make sure to check that out if you haven't done so far. We kind of ranked it low. I think we ranked it like top of Rogue or something.
Yeah, top of Rock, I think.
But because like the Anfield going first just looks kind of problematic. You just pass on Shangri-Ira and the Fenrir, and that doesn't seem overwhelmingly good. But if you add options like Vanity's Fiend, like Tim Gräfe is doing here today, to that, maybe you are off to a really, really good deck all of a sudden. Again, KASHTIRA might be a top contender out of nowhere.
Also, an important thing we shouldn't forget is that the INFERNOBLE deck, with losing the Ice Salt, is very dependent on getting the Angelica onto the field. And I can see that Alex is only playing 1 copy of Angelica.
Ooh.
So if Tim now gets to his Unicorn back again, I don't know if he can really get into Angelica anymore, because I think Angelica is the first target you're taking out with Unicorn.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you see that there's only one, right?
Yeah.
If there's multiple, you may consider something else, but if there's only one, I do agree. Okay, so no time wasted, immediately in a standby phase. The effect of Shangri-Ira is being activated. Unicorn, which you are already anticipating, is finding its way onto the field, and Tim looks calm and collected. And I mean, let's not forget about the big part here. There's 2 cards in the spell and trap zone, so that could be Solemn Judgment, Impermanence.
But there's
That's
a Judgment.
Solemn Judgment. Let's go. That is really huge. He needed that here. And honestly,
But does Alex have a second one?
that would be crazy. But we were talking about this card a lot the last couple of days, right? Because you were anticipating Evenly Matched really to be a meta-defining, meta-shaping card in this upcoming format. And I was always like, do you really think it's going to be that crazy? But here again, we see it would have been crazy. And Tim, for that reason, as you maybe have advised him, decided to play Solemn Judgment in his side deck as an answer to the Evenly Matched.
Yeah, but we have the Pankratops here now. The thing is, Pankratops gets a lot worse if you do not have the way to attack with it over something.
Yeah, for sure.
Because now the Pankratops can only get rid of like the Unicorn or the Fenrir.
Ooh,
And
we just
you-
destroy the
yeah.
Unicorn, and that shows us how valuable that one Angelica in his extra deck is.
We have tuning now, but I don't know. Do you think the INFERNOBLE deck has some good mills it can make of the?
I mean, some of the Infernobles maybe, which could, if you are getting to some part of your combo already, might be a valuable resource in the graveyard, but you have to get to that point first. That's just a foolish. That's not going to do anything.
But I remember, like game 1, we saw the Jet Synchron, which could have been a
True,
really big mill here.
Also,
but-
some of the wanted spells, the Sinful Sports stuff, right?
True.
That could be like a decent. Okay, that's a special summon of
Wandering
Griffin Rider. Okay, Tim considering whether to use Fenrir after that, but yes, he is.
Okay, he really benches it. I don't know. I mean, he's feared of Baron, likely. Because with normal summoning the Ref Synchron, it gets really tough if he gets a Baron and then like can maybe destroy the birth or something.
Yeah, okay, we are also locking a zone there. That's not a very good zone locker. Tim, you're playing KASHTIRA, bring some zone lockers with you. Not just placing some random dice into the middle zone, but that's a middle monster zone, of course. And are we going to do any more? Looks like Alexander is about to pass his turn.
Oh, we get.
Oh, look at that! They hurt me. They hurt me. That is a pretty good looking zone locker. At least better than. Oh, and that's the pass. And Tim, he was so excited when he drew that card for turn because he knows there's nothing on the side of Alexander. He already has Shangri-Ira, so that turn, it most likely is going to be over here.
I mean, one thing we won't see is like Shangri-Ira putting like an Rise out over the Shangri-Ira.
Oh, but there it is. We concede. Tim Gräfe is still undefeated with the KASHTIRA strategy. 5-0 defeating INFERNOBLE here. What a madman. Playing Vanity's Fiend and still just going crazy.
I mean, it's pretty crazy what like Tim like just set up there. I mean, we also saw the super polymerization.
Yeah.
So I don't know, with Judgment and super polymerization in your back row, I don't know if you're really scared.
You know what's the worst thing? I have to drive with this guy to Essen tonight, and he's going to tell me all night long how good this Kashtira deck is. I cannot even imagine how hard it will be.
But I mean, he proved his worth now. I mean, like, showing on feature how good your Kashtira deck is.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
fair for sure. But yeah, we are going to go on a very quick break, but we're going to be back with Tim, our winner of the feature match, with a very quick interview. So see you for that in just a moment.